Hello, and welcome to the We Are Power podcast. If this is your first time here, the We Are Power podcast is the podcast for you, your career, and your life. We release an episode every single Monday with listeners in over 60 countries worldwide, where you'll hear personal life stories, top-notch industry advice, and key leadership insight from amazing role models. As We Are Power is the umbrella brand to Northern Empowerment Awards, which celebrates hundreds of female role models and advocates every year. This is where you can hear stories from all of our awards alumni and stay up to date with everything MPW Awards and We Are Power. Well, hello and welcome to the podcast. This week, I am delighted to be joined by the BT Group. Massive. Woo! We have a 2-for-1 special. Liz and Alex on the couch. Yep. Now, how is it even possible with you two to describe each other in 3 words sentence?
Do you want to go first?
I can.
Go on.
I can. Tenacious, inventive, and humorous.
Oh, I'll take that.
Oh, I'm waiting for some jokes to be cracking on through this, Alex.
No, I'm under pressure now. What did I say for you?
Oh, and stylish. Going to sneak a 4th word in.
We could hyphenate it, right?
Yeah. Tenaciously, stylishly, funny. There you go.
Yeah, that sounds good. I'd go ambitious, direct, straightforward, which I like.
Yeah.
I'd say you're humorous as well.
Yeah. And what are your day jobs? What do you do?
So we both work in recruitment for BT. So we manage teams and stuff to bring in, hopefully, good talent is what we want to do. That's our job.
Yeah.
And you're doing things in a new way now, aren't you, at BT?
Yeah.
Yeah, we are. I mean, I've been around the block a few more times than Alex, but so I've been in recruitment since the late 90s. And part of my role when I joined BT like a year and a half ago or so was to sort of look at how we recruited and look at how we could make the process more inclusive, but also like more enjoyable. Mm-hmm. You know, you go to events, or you're asked to coach people, or you know, as soon well, we normally say we're in talent acquisition, and then people go, what does that mean? We say recruitment, and they're like, oh right, okay. Yeah. But when you start talking to people about their interview experiences or writing a CV, you know, all of a sudden they're like, oh, I had a terrible experience. Interviews have been the worst part of my life. Oh, I hate writing my own CV. So a lot of what I was brought in to do was reimagine how we recruit at BT, make it more inclusive, make it enjoyable, and make it into a process where people can showcase what they can do rather than wait to almost fail. So that's something that we sort of designed together as a team, and we rolled out. We did a pilot last year, and it's been phenomenal in terms of feedback, in terms of experience, in terms of what we've got out of it. I think as a recruitment team, we enjoy our jobs a lot more, and we've made really seismic change in terms of inclusion, in terms of gender, in terms of disability and ethnicity, and all of those great things, because people enjoy it and they can showcase their skills, not just what they do now, but what they can do in the future. So we are doing things differently.
And did some of that reimagining coming from your own experience as well, of those things that you're just saying, they were the horrible things?
Yeah. Do you know what it is? I've worked at BT for nearly 10 years, and it's been a really tough challenge to try and change anything process-wise. And when it comes to like the recruitment piece, people want to do it their own way. People have been there a while. And I think trying to change that idea of what is a good recruitment process was something that was quite, you know, interesting. People wanted to understand, like, why do we have to change it like this? And you think about all the different things you want to include. And as I said, make candidates more aware of what the process would be. They're not waiting to slip up. They know what to expect from us. They can see what the process might be. Like, I think that's what's changed massively for that.
And actually, it's an experience.
Yeah.
And we want it to feel like an experience rather than a waterfall gateway process.
Yeah. I want them to come away and go, do you know what? I might not have got the role, but the process I had or the experience I had with that recruitment team has been really good. So I still would apply again in the future. Or I also think, do you know what? I won't change my phone from them now because actually they work quite good. So it's a little bit of that as well.
And has there been sort of a good example that, you've created this new process and you've gone, oh my gosh, we would never have found that person, or the way that person presented this.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we wanted.
Yeah. 100%.
There's been situations where a manager would be very convinced they know who's going to get the job. They've got preconceived ideas. So-and-so is going to get it. It's going to be great. And they go through the process and you're like, do you know what? If you hadn't have done this, I never would have considered this other person. And I'm really struggling to make a decision because you've set it up in such a way that they all have done really well and it was completely unexpected. And that's what you want.
What advice would you give to people watching or listening out there, whether it's directly or it's their family that are maybe just got results or due to get results or something, and they've then got to go down this process, but it's not who they are, maybe a bit introverted or just don't think they've got the stories to tell. What's your one top tip you would give?
I think ask questions. If you're going through a process, don't be afraid to ask whoever it is that you're going through a process with, can you tell me more? And it's being that, like, whatever you're unsure about or you don't understand, like, don't just think because they've told you it's this, you have no choice but to question anything or get any more details so that you feel more comfortable about what to expect. I think it's that.
I think people need to be curious around the process. I think they need to look at the tools that are there to succeed. So when you think about, we're part of a global recruitment team. Behind the website and behind the job you're applying for will be somebody in the recruitment team that will want to help you and will be able to, give you top tips about who it is that you're going to meet as part of that selection process. And whether that's apprentices or whether that's experienced hires, there are lots of opportunities for you to delve deeper, not only about the company that you recruit, that you are looking to join, but also the people that you're going to meet as part of that process. And whether it's looking at how to succeed on a YouTube channel or using LinkedIn to look at people's profiles and really create those human connections. People like talking about themselves. So going into an interview, if you know who you're going to meet and going, oh, I had a look at you on LinkedIn. Yeah. This is really interesting. What did you enjoy about that? It immediately moves it away from that sort of transactional into that human interaction.
Yeah.
And straight away you'll feel a lot more relaxed and you'll be able to be more yourself. And people still buy people.
100%. That's got to be the best bit of the job, right?
Yeah.
Telling somebody they've got a job is
like
without doubt the best part of being in recruitment.
When you do that, I've got some good news for you. It's that bit. That's just quite,
it's great because it's life-changing. You sort of think at all of those pivotal moments where you've made a shift in your career. And, I've got so many examples of so many different people at different points in their career. And it's humbling and heartwarming. It's lovely. It's really nice.
Alex, you talked about ask questions. What are the best question you've ever been asked?
Oh, am I trying to think? A lot of them will ask me things like, so what are they like who I meet and what are they like? Have you got any tips for me? Like, what kind of things should I ask them? And they really want sometimes ask a bit more behind the scenes type questions. And those are kind of things that you think, do you know what, they really want to work for us or they're really curious about this. And that's a kind of like a tick anyway, because you can see that someone is keen. So those kind of questions are quite good, I think.
Yeah.
They want to know the inside scoop of who they're meeting.
And sometimes we're not good at telling our own story. You've been involved in the Northern Powering Awards and the We Are Power community now, and being part of that judging and reading and assessing those 1,600 nominations coming in. It's a tough thing sometimes to high five yourself and tell your whole story, isn't it? How is it okay to? It's not a humble brag, is it? You've got to go full on brag, haven't you? Or full on answer a question.
Yeah. And I think we're all quite self-depreciating, aren't we? I think as Brits we're quite self-depreciating. I think as women we're even more self-depreciating. And we're taught from quite young to, find humility, but sort of quieten yourself down a little bit. It's the sort of, you have an assertive man and a bossy woman, and I think sometimes, and I say this to people, and I've sort of taken my own advice as well, when you sort of sat there and you're trying to think about what would somebody find interesting in me, and you've maybe had a bit of a bad day and whatever, go and ask your support network, your friends, your family. It's a really nice exercise, actually, because you think, oh, people do see in me maybe what I see glimmers of myself. But doing that is a really great mindset shift, and it gives a sort of outside-in perspective from other people to sort of give yourself a bit of a pat on the back, but actually give yourself something meaningful to write in those nominations, because it's hard to sit down with a blank piece of paper. It's really difficult, whether it's a CV or a nomination.
It's a similar process, isn't it, in some respects?
Yeah.
Because you're going to win an award or to profile yourselves, or the same, even if you're only going to the job for experience or to build up sort of that self-belief.
Yeah.
Oh, it's really tough, though, saying anything about yourself. I think that's the hardest part of any of it. Doing interviews, doing for this, it's tough because you can't think of all the good stuff. You have to have, sometimes you need someone to tell you, do you know what, you're actually really good at this, and this is what you should do.
Yeah.
And that's always really important.
It is. It's nice.
And what about the prep? So you've changed the process, but still about the preparation though as well, isn't it? And you said curiosity, which I think is one of my favourite words. Maybe it's just nosiness for me, but
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot, I think, for any business that you're going into, but especially, at BT, and we have values that are sort of woven through life in the business. And what we've taken a lot of time to do is bring consistency into the process and be super clear, not just with the managers that you're meeting as part of that experience. We're telling you the topics that you're going to be talking about in each of those three, what we're now calling discovery sessions, because we want to move away from this sort of cognizant thing about interviews being sell me this pen, good cop, bad cop, panelists, or, when you sort of sat there going, oh, who do I talk to? And I'm really struggling. We want it to be inclusive, and we want to put you into a position where we're telling you the topics. It's fine to bring in notes. It's fine to prepare ahead of time. If you basically want to write the question down, reflect on the question, and then answer the question, absolutely fine. Set yourself up to succeed, and we want to give people the permission to do that. It isn't just about, here's a question, and what will set you in good stead is as quickly as you can answer it.
Yeah, we're not assessing good interview people. You're not good people that can interview.
And
we're actually looking about you. Yeah,
it's not a speed test. Yeah. And it's a bit like, when you go doing your GCSEs, and it's like most of the people that fall down in an interview answered a question that isn't the question you asked them.
Because you're rushing, and that's what it is, isn't it? You panic in those kind of scenarios, and the whole point of the process is to try and make it as relaxing as an interview can be,
and it's real life. You know, if this is a first job, maybe not got that experience, and so all of a sudden, and I love the whole idea. Take your notes in, take a bit of time. That's what the world of work's going to be. You're not put on the spot on day one.
No. Absolutely. Absolutely. And a really great interview question that I've used in the past for, people that are maybe coming out of education or are pivoting in their career is, tell us something that you're proud of, because you're an expert in that.
Yeah.
So it immediately makes people feel confident. It makes them feel an expert on that. And it gets them super engaged. And it's really interesting for the managers, and you can have everything from wild camping to filmmaking to fashion styling, but they're an expert in that. So immediately lowers their sort of worry about, you're asking me to talk about something that I'm not hugely confident on.
None of us want to get it wrong. So what are you most proud of?
Personally or professionally?
You pick. But thank you for the question.
Answering questions with questions.
Yeah, we always do that.
Let's try.
I think professionally, hopefully making a tangible difference to people's opportunities to grow and fulfill their potential, I would say, for me.
I'm trying to think now. So I think professionally, being able to grow myself professionally, because I've had 3 children, they're still quite young children, and being able to do that and have kids and do big things with our team at BT and stuff like that, and still being able to manage in the back of my head thinking about other things to do with school and stuff. So I think professionally, to be able to do any of that, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, holding it all together.
Yeah, basically, that's what I'm most proud of, is
Yeah.
being able to hold it together and do the family stuff, but still try and push forward with your own career about what you want to do, and that kind of thing. Yeah.
And what advice would you give your, not very many years ago selves, because you're both whippersnappers? What advice would you give when it's sometimes, because you talk, Liz, about, this could be coming into sort of a new role. It could be straight from academia. It could be that pivot. It could be sometimes we can be lost, can't we? Or just done in.
Yeah.
Is that me? No, that's probably me.
Do you know what? I think we all wake
time.
up with a bit of fatigue some days, don't we? I think when I started in recruitment, it was quite a male-dominated sector. It's not anymore, helpfully, but I think in the late 90s when I started, it was very much to succeed, you needed to be a certain way. I think what was helpful in at that period of time is it was all about figures and finance. So the most successful person in the room billed the most money, but there were also behaviours that went alongside that. And I think it's super easy to look around you and say, to succeed, I have to be like that person. And I think looking back in retrospect, I should have been more confident to succeed being my own person than try to replicate maybe some people around me. And I think I don't do that so much anymore because of the confidence that that's grown over time, but also probably the environments that I work in now. I think we're a lot more open to, definitely at BT, open to being your authentic self at work, bringing your entire self to work, talking about life outside work and how that affects, how you show up every day. And I think as a team, we're quite open to that.
Yeah.
And that's a very different balance to how it used to be. And I think if I started my career in that sort of environment, I'd probably be in a different place to where I am now.
I can see that. I think it's the same, because I think I grew up in the same situation with recruitment, starting an agency, tech recruitment especially. It is not necessarily a nice place to be back then.
Brutal. Really brutal.
Think, as you said, I think having the ability to push back and give yourself a bit of space in those kind of not so nice environments, and moving to trust what you need just because you're trying to move forward in your own career and whatever. Yeah. It's been no, and that's enough for me. I'm going to go somewhere else.
And I know inclusion, equity is the heart of the way we've worked together, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gosh, Liz, you and I personally met all those years ago in Angel Square or up there, I remember. And that was all around, sort of coming together, this collaborative unit around gender equality. But why is it so important? You've talked about how you've changed practices to be more inclusive for individuals, showing up for your whole self. But why is it so important, and not just to have that International Women's Day or Inclusion Week or Black History Month or mental health awareness? It's not just for Christmas, is it?
No, it's not. And I think, whilst we've come a long way, there is still an awful lot more to do. And Alex mentioned you've got 3 boys, I've got 2 girls. I'm sort of coming out of that sort of, later teenage years, and you're...
I'm still in the thick of it.
still
very young
single
children.
figures, really.
How young, Alex?
7, 5 and 2.
Wowzers.
Yeah.
Noisy house.
Oh, very. The 3 boys as well, especially the energy levels is insane. But
she comes to work for a rest, really.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. There is still a lot more to do. And in some ways... While it's great seeing how far we've come in my lifetime, I'm making myself sound older than Methuselah or whatever, but there is still a lot more there is still a lot further to go. And I think we can look to society and say, oh, well, all of this is wrong over here and this needs fixing. And yes, it does. But I think you have to sort of think, okay, well, what can little old me do in terms of the little world that I can influence? Not just being the parent to 2 teenage girls, but I think it's like calling things out and reshaping things for them and making them realise that, we're not done yet and we still have to continue pushing forward. And actually, if we all play a part in that, we'll get to where we want to go quicker.
And I think you're right. We always talk about what we can do. There's a big we in the centre of the word power, isn't it? And power right now, can be a challenging word and used in challenging ways.
Yeah.
So I think we all have that responsibility, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's like building communities within your own, wherever you can, and whatever it might be, that you can share experiences to help someone else. And it could be, as you said, like quite individual, as we're talking about kids, like people who've come back from work. I'm really like quite keen to help if they've, feeling a bit, lost and despondent about having to come back and try and navigate it all. I'm like, well, I've done this 3 times. It will get better, I promise. It's more of that, like sharing some of those, like, it might be a really bad day today, but tomorrow will be better. It's okay.
Yeah.
And communities were made up of so many different parts. And
yeah.
DNA is made up of so many different parts. Now, we talked about this. I don't know where this is going to take us, but talk to me about how your DNA is made, Alex.
Yeah, so I recently...
Because you said you're simple, aren't you, Liz? I don't mean that
simple in many ways.
Yeah, I recently did mine. So my mother-in-law bought me as a birthday present, because I've always said my family history is quite mixed, and I always wanted to know exactly how it was made up. So I did that. So one side of me is very straightforward. I'm 49% Cypriot. Okay, cool. Maybe you can tell that makes sense. But the other side of my family is a bit more mixed. So I'm 12% Chinese, which is exciting, which I did know because my nan does look Chinese, bless her. But, it's to see how it's mixed up.
Yeah.
Is like interesting. And then I found out I'm 12% Indigenous American, like Native Indigenous. So like Native American. And I didn't know, well, I did know that too. But again, I didn't know how much, because you don't know how much it dilutes as you go through your area. And obviously my grandparents would tell me all these different stories. And I'm like, that can't be true. Like, it doesn't make sense in your mind. How can you be a bit of this and a bit of that and a bit of this? So yeah.
Wow. And has that led you to be more curious?
Yeah, because I'm really into, like, I want to go to China now, because it says it's actually the part of the region that she's from. So I want to like understand.
It's really specific, isn't it?
It was really specific, like pinpoints exactly where your family from. And even in Cyprus, the specific regions of where my family originated from. And then they all came over to the UK from Trinidad. And it says that's the more recent history because of their movement and stuff. And I'm like, wow, it's a lot of things to tick off the old travel list now.
And you spent time in Canada, is that right?
I did, yeah. So I lived in Toronto for 3 years when the girls were, well, we moved there with my husband's job, and I had 3 years, I say off, but I was at home looking after toddlers in a country where I knew nobody. So the little one was 6 months and the big one was 2 when we went. So I had 3 years. I was a Toronto housewife. It was absolutely fantastic.
Was it?
Yeah, it was really good. I had a great time.
What would you say is your superpower?
I don't know how to bring it back to kids again, but juggling. That's my superpower. You have to. I think if you're not able to do multitask and to juggle some of it, I think that's got to be. Because in the back of mine, I'm still thinking about the fact that I've got to pay for a school trip that's coming up and I haven't done it yet. So
I think compartmentalisation
that's a good one as well.
is a really good skill, I think. Some days I'm better at it than others. And similar to you, I feel like I've got everything worked out and, I'm about to go to a meeting, and then I get a text message off one of my kids going, can you put money on parent pay? He's got no money for my school dinner. It's like, but I think, focusing in different ways on what's important, I think family, work, self actually is also important. I think that's something that we maybe don't think about so much as working parents.
I was going to say look into the future, but it's right now. AI is everywhere, right?
Yeah.
AI, and it can be very much pulled up as a bad thing. It can be pulled up as a, sort of a positive thing.
Mm-hmm.
But how do you think it implements or is impacting on your professional world, but also on your personal world? Does it help you juggle?
I wish I could figure out a way to make it juggle for me a bit more. I haven't worked out that one. So any tips? I'm more than interested in the personal one.
Yeah.
I mean, in work, it is, in recruitment in particular, it is a massive hot topic all the time. So like within our role in the area that we recruit for, we do recruit for like AI engineers and things like that. But then within recruitment, there's so many new tools. People want to talk about, AI generated CVs and interviews and things like that. And it's just a minefield of trying to work out what is going to give you some better results, but also not take away from like the human aspect of what we do.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's hugely disruptive. I mentioned I started in the late 90s and it was pretty much with a fax machine,
with that noise.
With that white tape over certain things. And I don't even think my kids would know what a fax machine actually is. They look with incredulity at a CD.
OHP, no.
You know, whatever. Oh, I love an OHP with those squeaky pens. AI, I think, in recruitment or talent acquisition it's hugely disruptive. And I think for me, and probably for our team, and certainly the way that we see it at BT, is we use it in a way that keeps the people element of the job and just enables us to go faster.
Yeah.
And I think, and I firmly believe, you know, recruitment, talent acquisition, whatever you want to call it, ultimately it's sales at the end of the day. And sales has a huge people element to it. And it's retaining that people element and using AI to help us extend the amount of time that we have with the people that we work with to put them into careers at BT or move their career forward whilst they're at BT, because we do internal moves and career changes as well. It's using it in the right way to free your time up to deliver value, which is ultimately, I think, how we use it.
Final question. What is the best bit of advice that you never received?
Oh,
that's hard. I'd say, actually, I'm going to jump in. I'm going to say, like, trust your gut. And I think, you know, and what I'm trying to say, like, people say, it's going to work out in the end. But, like, trust your instinct if you think it's not. And it's more of that, like, whatever that might be, wherever that takes you, it's more like trusting you're in the right place, or you're not in the right place, or you're doing something that's going to make a difference, or it's not. Like, trust your gut that if you're feeling those warm, fuzzy feelings and something is good going on, and that's a good thing, go with it. And likewise, if it's not like that,
if it's icky, get
out, like, move on to something else.
I think don't dim your ambition, but maybe accept that there is different ways to get there.
Oh,
that sounds way more.
That's wise, isn't it? Yeah. Wise women on this couch today.
I'm going to change my answer with that.
Come on, Alex, you can go again for that. You've got a tote bag with that on now,
yeah,
Liz.
You should.
Do you know what? Honestly, I've been asked a few questions about, you know, what's the hardest thing in recruitment, and the hardest thing in recruitment is, and we spoke earlier about, you know, how nice it is telling people that they've got a job. The worst part is telling people that they haven't got a job.
Yeah.
And then when you don't give them anything tangible to say, and this is what you could do differently, it's awful. Because you've invested your time, they've invested their time, and you're not giving them anything back. So I coined a bit of a phrase, "know with a bow." And the number of people that are like, "Oh, we're going to trademark that. Oh, we're going to pitch that, blah, blah, blah."
You are known for, like, the little...
I do. I like an analogy.
Yeah.
I do like an analogy. Oh, God, I probably should ask Alex that.
Do you know what? There's too many. She comes up, and I'm like,
they're not connected.
I'm like, what do you mean? What? And then you start explaining. I'm like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, they're not connected, and they're huge and varied. And it probably give you a creepy insight into my mind if I told you probably what some of them are. But I think... again, something through changing the way that we hire now, we have got tangible outcomes to tell everybody about. It might be a no, but it's a not right now. And this is what you can do if you want to come back, or this is what you can do to improve. And that for me, that know with a bow, and that way of sort of shaping that engagement with people through that experience is really great. And actually, coming back to your point about what's your best advice, I think it's try and see things differently.
Yeah.
And try and imagine things differently. And because it's been done that way for a long time, don't let that limit what you can do and you can influence moving forward.
I guess it goes back to as well what we were saying before about, like, asking questions.
Yeah.
You know, if you didn't get what you wanted, or you're not getting the feedback or the advice that you need, if you don't ask questions, you'll never really know. You should be sat there with that, I could have done this, I could have done, and they'll be like, actually, do you know what, none of that would have made any difference, because what we wanted is something that you just don't have. And you can go, okay, cool. That makes sense.
I think positively saying why and positively saying no are two really strong attributes in people.
They're coming out now, aren't they? They're coming out now.
This is what I have to deal with on a daily basis.
Sorry about that. We should have started this way.
Yeah,
I know, but it's true, isn't it? You know, positively saying no, we're not going to do that, and saying, but why? Why do we do it that way? And I think that's how we arrived at this different way of hiring now, which is so much better.
Challenging the curiosity, because if we keep doing things the way they are, we'll keep getting the same.
Difference.
Amazing. Thank
you.
you
That's all right.
so much for joining us on the Teal Couch.
Thank you for having
today.
us.
So much wisdom and so much top tips and advice. It doesn't matter whether you're new into a role or you're coming back into work or you are thinking, I'm just not sure. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. But ask the questions, do your research,
Yeah.
and be ready with that real super curious question as well.
Yeah. And enjoy who you meet along the way, I think. Yeah.
It's all
What-
experience at the end of the day. Even if it doesn't work out, it's all experience for the next one.
It is.
Yeah.
Thank you
Thank
so
you for having
much,
us.
Alex.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much. Thank you so much to the BT Massive for joining us today. Thank you so much for being
Thanks.
amazing partners and always mega supportive. So thank you so much for joining us on the We Are Power podcast. Subscribe on YouTube, Apple, Amazon Music, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Leave us a review or follow us on socials. We are power_net on Insta, TikTok and Twitter. Or We Are Power on LinkedIn, Facebook. And We Are _power on YouTube.